What is up, guys? We are back. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Cherona. So this is the George Mossey Show, TLC Weekly Roundup. This is a huge month for TLC. So a lot of new shows premiering. It's almost too much. I almost thought about requesting off some time from work so I could just sit at home and watch them all so I can know what's going on. But I don't think my job is okay with that. So we ran out of time. So we were talking about Gabe and Isabel. Now, Gabe is from Florida. Isabel is from Colombia. And they're in a relationship. And Isabel accepts Gabe for who he is, which is a trans man. And what we are worried about is that her family might not understand, because we know from times where people were dating people from Colombia, they are not as forward thinking over there when it comes to those type of relationships. So I'm really worried about how this relationship is going to work out, because Gabe is willing to leave Florida, leave his entire life to go and be with Isabel. And I would hate to see their relationship not work out over something so small and insignificant as her family not accepting him as a trans man, because that's who he is. That is his gender. That's his identity. No one can take that away. And you don't even have the right to disapprove. That's just who he is.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, now we're definitely seeing such a big movement in the United States, and everyone is becoming so much more open with like trans, everyone in the LGBTQ community. So it's really nice that this season we also have the lesbian couple, then we have the trans couple. And I think that's really cool because, like you said, we haven't had that. We've had a couple of like a gay or a lesbian couple, but having a trans one is going to be really cool for like just the world, because there's so many
Mhm.
people that are trans, and just to see Gabe's story is just going to be very, inspiring for so many people.
I agree. And it's interesting because I've been watching 90 Day Fiance from the beginning, and they didn't always represent all types of love, all forms of love. And I have been seeing baby steps, and we are at such a big pinnacle of steps at this point. Congratulations to TLC for understanding how important it is. There's so many trans youth and trans people out there who need to be represented. The 90 Day Fiance universe is huge, and we need to make sure that they feel a part of it. We need to make sure that they're included. We can't dictate what love looks like. We have to just document what love is. And I'm so happy that that is what's happening. And Gabe and Isabel, I want this to work because I want you guys to be that monumental couple that we've needed to see and be represented on this season. But we know love is a very weird thing. So we have to see how this is going to go. Fingers crossed Isabel's family is very open-minded and open to this relationship, because I know I accept it. I love it. Love is love. I just love to see it. All right, so I want to talk about a couple that we are familiar with, right? So Danielle, who is from New York, and Johan, who is from the Dominican Republic. Now, if you guys know, they were featured on Love in Paradise, which is a really, really awesome spinoff of the 90 Day universe. It premiered on Discovery Plus, and then it came back to TLC on TV. And they're doing it weird because I watched it like 6 months ago. Now it's like airing on TV now. So it's
Yeah.
really, yeah, it's really odd, but they are back. And Danielle was actually marrying Johan in the Dominican Republic, and they were going to head back to New York, where she's a
Hmm.
teacher. But apparently, the plans have changed, and she is leaving everything behind to stay in the Dominican Republic. And I don't know how that came about, because on Love in Paradise, she had a conversation with Johan's family, and they were more interested in him going back to New York with her because they knew that the opportunities for him would be greater, and he would actually be able to help support the family, because it's important as a man in his family that he helps to support everyone. And it would be much easier for him to do that in New York or in the United States, where the wages are higher, because we watched the scene with Johan's family where his mom said that no matter how many jobs you work or how many hours you work, unfortunately, you're never going to make enough. You're never going to make enough to get ahead or to save anything. That's so unfortunate. But apparently, that's not how the plan ended up. Now, I've always loved this couple. I think this couple is amazing because Johan is so tall, and Danielle is like, I don't want to call her short. She's not as tall as Johan. So it's just such a weird thing to see, but they love each other so much. So whenever I see them in pictures and take videos, I follow them both on Instagram. So Johan will be filming way up here, and Danielle's way down here, and it's so cool. I just think that's amazing. So I want to see them work out, but I also want to know if Danielle is going to be able to adapt to living in the DR, because the conditions are different. Now, don't get me wrong, the DR is a beautiful place, but in the tourist areas versus the neighborhoods where people are actually living, there's a very big divide. So is Danielle going to be able to do that? And is she actually going to be able to make money there? That's another thing, right? Because she's a teacher in the US. Would that salary equate to being a teacher in the Dominican Republic? I have a ton of questions.
Yeah, same. I mean, I just want to know what's happening, because as this season's unfolding, what's making them change to her going? I have those are my questions, is like, what changed? Because like you said, their family really wanted him to come to New
Mhm.
York, which like you said makes a lot of sense money-wise. So what changed?
I know. I can't wait to see because she was pretty sure that she was going to go back to NYC. And I mean, she was open to either because she did ask on Love in Paradise. She's like, what would be ideal for the living situation? Would we get married and go back? Would you guys want him to stay? And his family said, we would want him to go with you because that would just open
Mhm.
up such an amazing possibility and opportunity for us. So, whatever shifted is what we're going to see, and we're going to see if she's going to be able to handle it, because sometimes we crumble under that pressure of leaving behind everything we've ever known: family, friends, work. I mean, it's New York, so I know that living in New York takes a very strong person. So I know
Mhm.
that Danielle is strong because I've been to New York more times than I can count, and I could never imagine living there. It's just too crazy and insane for me. So I know that I'm not a city person to that extent. So I know Danielle is strong. I know she can handle whatever comes at her, but I just want to see how is she going to react to these conditions and these changes and adaptations, because she's gonna have to work there too. All right, so also this month there is a show that I'm obsessed with. I don't know if you're obsessed with it, but I'm obsessed with it. It's called Extreme Sisters. So
Oh
it's
yeah, I love it.
actually, yeah, so it's premiering on January 23rd. This is season 2, and we have some returning sisters and we have new sisters. There's even a set of triplets who are going to be on the show, and we have craziness from people taking baths together to two of
Ugh.
the sisters licking each other's teeth. And but there's actually two sets of twins now who are, well, okay, so there's one set of twins that are dating one guy. They're sharing a boyfriend. And then there's a new set of sisters now who want to, well, they're twins and they want to marry another set of twins. So there is a lot going on. And this season looks insane because we know Anna and Lucy were trying to have a baby, two babies. Okay, so everything that they do has to be exactly the same. So they needed to get
Mhm.
pregnant at the same time, which their boyfriend needed to get them both pregnant at the same time, which I didn't even think was possible. Like, logistically, but whatever. But they wanted to do that. And this season, we saw them at a restaurant with a couple of like living dolls, like little doll babies. So I'm assuming that they didn't get pregnant yet, but I know that they're not going to give up. I know that they're going to keep trying. Also, Christina and Jess. Christina was pregnant and no one knew. I follow her and Jess on Instagram, and we watched the preview and the trailer, and she's a whole pregnant and had a whole baby, and I didn't even know. And I feel like, how did that get past me? I usually stalk everyone's pages and I kind of figure out what's going on. How in the hell did Christina manage to get pregnant, not post one picture, have a baby, not post one picture until this trailer aired? That blows my mind.
Oh yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I get the Kardashians doing it, but like, what? I kind of don't even get that. Like, how do you hide being pregnant? Like when you're like, I mean, I get in the beginning, but like when you're like pregnant, like there is no hiding that baby.
And somebody could have snapped a picture of her at Starbucks or something. Like, no one said anything. And Jess has never gotten along with her boyfriend John. And
Hmm.
now that John is a dad to her sister's child, I can only imagine things are going to get worse, because we know Jess felt like he was sectioning off her sister and taking control of her time. And you know that they did everything together. And then when John entered the picture, he was like, "Oh, well, we don't want you over at the house anymore. We don't want you around." And which makes no sense because they live next door to each other. Like, how can you tell her she can't come over and hang out with her sister? You live next door to each other. So I don't even know how that's going to go. But I know that he's still in the picture, because a lot of people were surprised when they saw the trailer. They were like, wait, they're still together? Because she hadn't posted him on Instagram in a really long time. So everyone had the assumption that they finally had broken up. I don't want to say finally. I don't want to make it seem like I wanted them to break up. That's not how I feel. But I did want them to include Jess more in their lives. And I don't know if they
Hmm.
are or not. But now that there's a baby, I hope that they will be, because Jess has kids, Christina has kids. They need to grow up together, and they also need to be as close as the sisters were. So we're
Yes.
going to be watching that. That is also January the 23rd, season 2. I just have to mention this. There's a new show called MILF Manor, and it consists of 8 MILFs. I think people know what that word. If you don't know, it's a mature, beautiful woman who is of a certain age, and they are looking for much younger men to date. And TLC has said that there is a huge twist. Now, I've been on Reddit and I've been online. I'm trying to figure out, what do you mean a huge twist? People online seem to think that these women's sons
That's what
are
I
going to
thought.
be on the show. I can't prove that. This is all alleged. I can't prove it. TLC has not released what the secret is. They're saying that their sons will be there and available to date the other women. So, like, obviously, there's no mom dating their son, but their son will be
Mhm.
open season for any of the other 7 women on the show. So, what do you think of this show? Do you think it's going to be the sons, or what are your predictions for the twist?
Well, that's exactly what I thought. So in the beginning, when I first saw it, it was just like, okay, it reminded me of like, early 2000s TV where there was like all the people that
Yes.
get together and date, like, and like the flavor of love or whatever, but like just with all these people. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like I can vibe with that. But then when they said there was a twist, I literally, the first thing that came to my mind is like, that's their kids. It has to be. I don't know what other twists they could bring in. Like, is it
Well,
other
I
people that
know
they
that
dated?
there was one show where it was like X on the beach. They brought
Yeah.
like your ex. So I was
Yes.
thinking it could be their ex-husbands are going to be there to like scrutinize it. But I was like, that's not fun. I
No.
wouldn't watch, I wouldn't get excited about that, but it would be fun to watch them because their son, they're going to be super protective of their
Yeah.
sons. So if they see their son talking to a woman, they're going to be like, I don't like you talking to her. And it's going to be so different because if it was just random guys there, they would behave so differently. But I feel like this is going to make things super complicated for them because they're also looking for someone to date, but they're also making sure that their son ends up with someone they approve of, which is going to be like really difficult to juggle and to figure
Yeah.
out. So I'm excited to see this show. And I think that older women are the way to go. I'm not telling anyone what to do, but I feel like, guys, if you want to date a girl, like she should be older because older, mature, they're
Yes.
just so much more fun. They know what they want. They don't want to play any type of games. They are going to text you back because they're not playing games with you. If you want to hang out, she's going to text and say that. Younger girls, no offense, but like you'll text a younger girl and she'll just like leave you on unopened for like hours and hours, even though she wants to talk to you because there's these games, right? So I feel like I love the idea of dating older women. So I'm gonna watch this show just because of that. Hopefully the twist is that their sons are there. Not that I want that, but it's good entertainment, and I feel like we want good entertainment, and TLC is definitely bringing that. Oh, honorable mention, if you don't know, this week, 1,000 Pound Sisters is premiering, and last week, 1,000 Pound Best Friends premiered. I love both of those shows. I have not
Awesome.
watched the premiere of 1,000 Pound Sisters yet, so we
I
can't talk
did.
about it. So next week, we'll be covering that, and we're going to be covering
Yes.
1,000 Pound Sisters. So
Yes.
this is a big month for TLC. They're giving us all these shows. I need to take like a week off just so I can catch up.
Same. I know. We just need to like have our popcorn and our blankets and just watch everything at TLC and just don't go to
Yeah, I don't have time. There's no time for work right now. There's no time. There's so much to do and so much to catch up on. These are all my favorite people. Like the 1,000 Pound Sisters are my favorites. Like I'm
I love them.
obsessed.
Same.
Amy, Tammy, love y'all. Y'all are my faves. I can't wait
We
to
love
catch
you
up.
guys.
And I heard one of them got married, and obviously you know which one because one is already married.
Yes.
But we get to watch that relationship flourish into what it is today, and I'm kind of interested because we know she's had her issues with finding men that were right for her. So I'm kind of interested in
Exactly.
seeing, is this the right guy? Well, I guess it's too late because they're already married. Because I was like, is this the right guy? It's too late. We're already married. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But we still get to just see how it ended up there. All right, guys, that's it for this week's TLC Weekly Roundup. That's what's going on TLC. If you didn't know, oh, honorable mention as well, Darcy and Stacey is premiering this month as well. We did talk about that. So make sure you're setting your DVRs because if you don't, you're going to miss something. There's so much going on. We'll be here to talk about it with you, though. Don't worry. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Cherona. This is the George Mossey Show. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, georgemossey.com, and anywhere you get your podcasts. And you have to follow Cherona, too. Her links are right here at the bottom. All right, guys, we'll talk to all of you guys really soon.